our 2024 competition event. We're hoping to increase the number from 6 teams to 20 teams. So any outreach from any of the partners would be much appreciated. If you have any questions about who can participate or how to get a hold of folks, how to get resources to teams that may want to participate, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'd love to support that effort. The state competition will be moved this year. Typically, we've held that in April. We are going to move it up to March 4th and 5th at CSU Spur in Denver. We're hoping to avoid any conflicts with the FFA event in April and prom and other things that high school students have going on. The other big exciting thing that we have is our annual meeting. So our 2023 CACD annual meeting will be held December 5th and 6th in Colorado Springs at the Marriott. I hope everyone has seen some outreach about that. We have a lot of really great speakers coming to chat with us. We are going to host a demonstrations project exhibit hall, inviting folks to come in and talk about the great projects that are happening throughout Colorado. Our hope with that is that we can help connect folks with technical service providers, partner opportunities, funding opportunities, kind of have it be a way to help support the continuation of that great work in Colorado. We are going to be hosting about 23 breakout sessions at our annual meeting. Those topics range from funding opportunities. We're going to have a panel for that. We're going to have a breakout about federal lands and how conservation districts and partners can get involved in speaking with those entities. We have water and soil topics. We have the SDA liability pool coming in to chat with folks. We have breakouts on partnership and education events. It's really going to be a neat event, so we hope everyone will join us for that. We do have a special kind of pre-dinner on the 3rd of December where we're inviting anyone who is new to the annual meeting to come join us, as well as NRCS and partner employees as a networking event to help folks kind of get navigated before the week starts or before the event starts. And then CACD is supporting the soil health effort through CDA Soil Health Program in Castilla County and Platte Valley conservation districts. So if you know folks down there who are interested in getting involved in soil health, please let us know. We're in the process of recruiting landowners at the moment. So I know that was a lot, but I'll end there unless anyone has any questions for me.
Okay, Abby, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for her? Abby, you're free. Okay. Next up, we have Marissa Marcus, our RCPP director, here, our coordinator with NRCS Colorado. Marissa, are you ready to go?
Yep, give us 5 seconds real quick. She's coming right over here.
Okay.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Marissa, I'm the new RCPP coordinator, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to give you a brief introduction to RCPP. There might be a little lag in the slides, there we go. So RCPP became a standalone program in the 2018 Farm Bill. The main vision for RCPP is to provide the opportunity for NRCS to work with you all, to work with partners that encourage innovation, high-performing solutions that accelerate conservation mission and demonstrate the value of voluntary private lands conservation. There's 4 pillars of RCPP. The main one, impact, partner contribution, innovation, and partnerships and management. These are the eligible activities under RCPP, and you should recognize some of them. Land management has a similar program authority to EQIP, rental, CRP, easements, as well as watershed projects. So if you were an eligible partner and you had interest in these eligible activities, you would go ahead and inquire with your RCPP coordinator to discuss a project. We would work to develop a proposal, and then if selected, we would negotiate the agreement for that project proposal. And so this is a really basic depiction of the difference between classic and an alternative funding arrangement proposal. So if you want the classic route, it's going to be similar to a program you're familiar with, like EQIP, where NRCS is working with the partner and they're also working with the producer. If you were to go the AFA alternative funding arrangement, the producer is mainly working with the lead partner. NRCS still has some due diligence items that we can't pass on to the lead partner, but the producer primarily works with you. And again, that's kind of oversimplified. Here I have some additional detail for RCPP Classic. One of the questions we would work through in trying to determine which route you should go is, do you have the capacity to deliver a majority of the technical assistance? If you're answering no, then most likely you would want to go a partner-inspired classic project. If you answered yes to providing a majority of the technical assistance, then you might be interested in the alternative funding arrangement opportunity. So some of the big highlights from the 23 Notice of Funding opportunity. There was $500 million total for Farm Bill 18 and IRA authorities. For AFAs, only 15 can be funded for the year. For AFAs, there's 50 million set aside for tribal entities. And for IRA AFAs, there was no cap. And that's the climate smart agriculture conservation values. So then within the classic and the AFA, there's two fund pools. There's the state multi-state, the critical conservation area, which we'll go through in just a minute here. And one of the big highlights was that there was no one-to-one match requirement. Having said that, you can see under the proposal what the proposals are evaluated on. Partner contribution is part of the evaluation. We do want to know how the partner is going to leverage NRCS funding, but the main focus is impact of the project. So no one-to-one match requirement. However, we do want to hear in the proposal what the partner contribution is and how it leverages the overall impact of federal dollars. So here's just an image of the CCAs. There's two in Colorado, the Prairie Grassland region and the Colorado River Basin. And so if you were to apply under the CCA Prairie Grasslands region, you have to address one of the listed resource concerns: inadequate habitat for fish, degraded plant condition, excess insufficient water, drought. And if you submitted a proposal under the Colorado River Basin CCA, you have to address one of the resource concerns: excess insufficient water, drought, water quality degradation, soil quality degradation, inadequate habitat for fish, wildlife, and invertebrates. And so I would just say that if you're interested, you're an eligible partner interested in these activities, and you think you have an idea for an RCPP proposal, please reach out to me. I'd say this is the most exciting part of my job, is that I get to work with partners and develop these proposals, review them, and see the conservation get put on the ground. So that's all I have. marissa.marcus@usda.gov, and that's Marcus with a K.
Feel like Marissa should have a
Okay.
jingle or something like that. So just really,
All right.
please, partners, if you guys do have an interest in RCPP, the reason why, even though it's after the submission deadline, that Marissa's presenting the 23 information is because we do anticipate higher available funding for potential RCPP projects, and it's never too early to start working on those proposals and reaching out to Marissa and just throw ideas at her at what you think your operation, your entity might be interested in doing, and she can help kind of funnel you to the right path and get those details in line. Excellent. Thanks, Marissa.
Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Any questions for Marissa before we move on to the next one? Seeing none. Our state director, our deputy state director for rural development, Irene at City. Are you ready to go, Irene?
I am. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity in giving RD time to give you a few updates regarding rural development. I'm going to share with you a few program opportunities that may be of some interest to you or to someone you know. So I'm going to share some fact sheets with you regarding a few of the programs we have available. Let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see it, Irene.
Thank you, Clint. So the first program is our meat to poultry intermediary lending program. This program provides grant funding to intermediary lenders who finance or plan to finance the startup or expansion of slaughter and other processing meat of poultry. If you notice on the fact sheet, we have the type of intermediaries lenders can apply for, who's eligible. So that is our intermediary lending program. The next program we have is a meat to poultry processing expansion program. This program is provides grants and helps processors expand their capacity and encourage competition for sustainable growth in the meat processing sector, and it will help improve the supply chain. The next program opportunity we have is our Rural Energy for America program. This program provides guaranteed loan financing and grant funding to agriculture producers and small businesses. We are accepting applications for this program year-round. If you notice in the fact sheet, it gives a list of the type of borrowers that are eligible, what areas are eligible, and how the funds can be used for these programs. The last program opportunity we have is the Value Added Producer Grant. These grants can help independent agriculture producers begin the processing and marketing of activities to add value to the products. Other examples can be used for conducting feasibility studies, developing business plans, and paying certain inventory and salary expenses. So if you are interested in receiving a copy of these fact sheets, please feel free to send me a chat message or an email and I can forward them on to you. I'll also be happy to set up a meeting with you and one-on-one with our business programs loan specialists who are the experts in these programs. So moving on from program opportunities, I just have a few admin updates to provide. We are on track to close out FY23. RD still has approximately 8 FTEs to fill. We're hoping to soon onboard a new state environmental coordinator, and we will be announcing a housing program director in the near future. So with that, I will turn it back over to Sean. And again, if you're interested in getting any copies of these fact sheets, please send me a chat message or an email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Irene. Next up, we have Kent Pepler, our FSA State Executive Director, and Cleveland Hunter, our Agricultural Program Specialist. See Kent's
Well, first of
screen
all,
starting to resolve. There you go, sorry.
Are we okay? Are we good now?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, this is CSU week, so I'm wearing my CSU cap everywhere. We're up against it a little bit, but anyway, I'm a diehard CSU guy. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. I would like to say a nice word about Clint. I'm kind of the new guy on the block, and Clint has been very open and really easy to work with. And so it's been a privilege to have this job and work with Clint. And that being said, Randy leaving is certainly going to leave a void around here. Randy's many years of service should be commended. And I'll tell you, when you see him in the hallway and you talk to him, he's got such a positive attitude. You just feel better the whole day. So I'm going to miss his morale boosting around here too. Hunter, Cleveland, and Cindy did a marvelous job, I thought, answering questions on the CRP. You'll hear from them later. I think maybe I figured out that on these meetings, you should hear more from them and less from me. As you guys probably know, I oversee 3 areas at the Farm Service Agency: the administration, the farm program, and the farm loan program. And I'll give you just really quick updates because I realize I'm slotted in the spot between you and lunchtime, and I'll respect that. The administration, we're not unlike NRCS and rural development. We're having a lot of people retire. We're having to replace a lot of people. And that's been a difficult process. But I must tell you that, there's still a class or a group of people out there that feel like serving their country is a good thing. And our jobs are so important to rural America that I think people feel the responsibility, and I'm prejudiced, but I think people in rural America have that thought process more than anybody. So I'm confident that we'll be able to fill our slots with really quality people and keep the high level of service that we try to give out moving forward. As I said, in the farm programs, I'll let Hunter and Cindy talk on those. The farm loan programs, obviously, we're still working on the Inflation Reduction Act. We gave out some installment payments. We helped some producers on some installment payments with their loans, and obviously that opened up some more questions, and so now we're moving forward. And some people really tried hard and made some extraordinary measures to make their payments and didn't receive any installment payments. So we're going to try to help them. Also, the cash flow issues that, if you've ever farmed, you all know about this. We're going to try to help to fill in on cash flow issues. And then the guarantee borrower was left out of the original installment payments also. And so there's going to be some help there for distressed guarantee borrowers. And of course, never far from our mind is assistance for anybody that felt like they were discriminated. And that's going to require an extra outreach movement, extra outreach effort by us. And we're currently putting together an outreach plan for Colorado. Probably the biggest news overall is that we've been designated an urban agriculture center here in Denver, Colorado. And so I'm kind of excited to see what that develops into. That's gonna be a cooperative effort, obviously, with rural development, NRCS, and it'll be interesting. I just heard on the news this morning that there's a pretty significant food desert in northeast Denver, which is hard for me to believe because you drive up 85 and all the food in the world's there to me. But that's how naive I am. And this is an important product. The Biden administration feels really strongly about it. COVID, we found some weaknesses in our food chain. This is one of the links that we're trying to work on. So I'm kind of excited to get to going on this, and certainly we'll be probably talking with all of you in the future towards that. And certainly Armando Valdez and I've already spoken to it. And Armando's like family to me anyway, so working with rural development, Clint, should be a lot of fun. And at this time, I think I'd like to turn it over to the farm program folks. And Hunter, do you have a report, particularly on CRP? I think that's what these folks like to hear about.
Hunter, you might be muted.
I
There you
was. Sorry about that. Yeah, Mr. Ken, I do have one. Thank you. I'm gonna share a little presentation I put together because there's a pretty interesting graph in here that I would like to show everybody. Give me just a moment to get it pulled up. Okay, I assume everybody can see that. If you can't, just speak up and let me know.
We see the slide for conservation program, reserve program updates.
Okay, great. So this time of year, all of the CRP signups have opened and closed, and we've gotten all the accepted and rejected back for each sign up. So I just want to give you a brief look into each sign up for this year and the activity we had for each one of them. So general sign up opened on February 27th of this year, and then we were able to accept offers until April 7th. Shortly after that, we got the accepted and rejected. Colorado had about 136,000 acres across 784 offers accepted into general CRP sign up 60. Majority of the acres were offered and accepted into practice CP1, CP2, and CP4D, but out of those three, really, the focus was on CP2 and CP4D, which is the establishment of native grasses, and then the permanent wildlife habitat establishment. In comparison to last year, the numbers did drop, but that can really be attributed to the fact that for last year's general sign up, there were a lot more expiring contracts than there were this year. So I know the number might be a little scary if you're just comparing the two, but really a lot of it can be attributed up to that. When you have more expiring contracts, more producers are offering re-enrollment into general CRP. So for the total acreage of general practices, we got about close to 1.2 million acres enrolled in Colorado for general practices. So to give an offer on, to give an update on grassland sign up, that opened on April 17th, and then offers were accepted until May 26th. Those go through competitive ranking as well. So shortly after that, we got accepted and rejected numbers. And Colorado had about 437,000 acres accepted across almost 1,100 offers. In comparison to last year, again, there's a slight decrease, but a lot of that can be attributed to the expiring contracts again. So the total grassland acreage for Colorado is almost 1.2 million just for grassland practice. And then to give an update on continuous CRP, continuous CRP was announced and offers were, you could begin accepting offers on October 1st of last year. And then offers were accepted until August 7th of this year. Colorado had about 8,100 offers accepted in continuous CRP, sign up 59. In comparison to last year, there was about 12,000 acres accepted into and enrolled into continuous CRP last year. So to break down the continuous CRP practices for the state, the Lesser Prairie Chicken Safe Practice, that brings the total up to about 45,000 acres with a concentration mainly in Cheyenne and Baca County for Lesser Prairie Chicken Safe. Upland Bird Safe, it brings the acreage up to about 24,000. And it was split evenly among all counties that are eligible for Upland Bird Safe. And then Western Slope Grouse, you're looking at about 7,000 acres with a concentration in Dolores and Montezuma. Republican River Crepe had it brings the total up to about 6,500 acres with a main concentration in Kit Carson. Rio Grande Crepe is about 10,000. There's really only 3 counties that are eligible for Rio Grande Crepe, so concentration in those. And then outside of our safe and crepe acreage, continuous acreage in Colorado, there's also about 11,000 acres of regular continuous practices enrolled in Colorado as well. So one thing I wanted to kind of show everybody, this is a graph I presented earlier in the year, and I thought it was pretty interesting, and I like to show it to people because I think you guys would also find it interesting as well. This is the historical enrollment in CRP for the state of Colorado. And one thing in particular I like to show, since there's been such an emphasis on grassland, and grassland enrollment is what has catapulted Colorado to the forefront on CRP for the country. I like to show this because it shows the growth of CP88, which is the grassland practice, through the state in just recent years, and how quickly and rapidly that acreage has increased. So all the practices are on here, but the main one I want you to focus on is the dark green. So in 2020, obviously you see there's a little bit of participation, but really not a lot of concentration on grassland in Colorado, with it increasing slightly in 21. And then obviously there's a huge boom for 22 in comparison to 21, and definitely 2020. And then there's the projected for 23. So when we're speaking on grassland, there's been a big emphasis on how the increase in enrollment in those practices. But I like to show this graph because I feel like it's a really nice visual on how much that has actually increased in just 3 years and that participation. So as I was saying, that's really what has catapulted Colorado to #1 for CRP as far as FSA goes. So I suspect there to be a continued interest in grassland across the state for our producers. But that's really all I have for a CRP update for this year's numbers. Ms. Cindy, I don't know if you want to give a farm program update or if anybody has any questions for me.
Yeah, Hunter, I think we do have something in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. We can do Hunter's question. I just kind of already responded to it in the chat.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. It might be something I can try to look into to try to get some numbers for. I'll have to go through and kind of comb through some reports and see if that's something I can get up for you. It's not something I have right now, but if I can, I'll definitely send that out.
There
Okay.
were a couple
Thank you,
things that
Hunter.
I wanted to, thank you, Hunter. There's a couple things I did want to mention because it's been a long time since we've had a state technical committee that we've talked about. I just wanted to remind everyone that we did get a new Republican River Crepe agreement, revised agreement signed. And so we did start the Republican River Crepe agreement, which allows non-irrigated farming on that CRP. So just as an FYI, Ivy had worked on that for quite a while with national office on a detail, and also worked on it for Colorado, and we're the pilot for the nation on that. So I just wanted to, I wasn't sure if everybody knew about that did actually get approved and is in effect right now with the Republican River CREP and with the Water District, and working with the state of Colorado when it comes to the CRP stuff. That was one thing with CRP I just wanted to mention, because I felt that was a big thing that I have been working on. For farm program updates, I can just give you a quick rundown. Of course, payments go out in October, like conservation payments will start going out on CRP contracts in October. And our PLC payments for 2022 will start in October. We do not know what the benchmarks are yet, but that's when those payments will be going out. We are wrapping up ERP and PARP. The sign up for those were the special programs that were PARP was Pandemic Assistance Revenue Program, and ERP was Emergency Revenue Program. That the sign up is over with those, and we're just finalizing some things. We still have some ERP phase 2 applications out there. We're waiting for making payments on those. It just, national office has to set the benchmarks on those before we make those payments on those ERP phase 2s. If you guys have anybody that are looking at that stuff. We have another new thing, just so you guys know, so you can make sure that your stakeholders understand that too, that FSA did change some of our rules when it came to our non-insurable NAP program. And we are now taking producers that have filled out Form 860, which has to do with beginning farmers and socially disadvantaged farmers, that we're making those producers that filled out that form automatically eligible for NAP programs. So there are a lot more people who may not necessarily know that they're eligible for NAP now because they just filled out that form. They did not have to file an application for coverage for the NAP program. So that's a big change that has happened this past year that I think would be great for all of you guys to know and talk to your stakeholders about. Those are a couple of the major things that I can think of off the top of my head to do with farm programs that your stakeholders may be interested in that are not just on the conservation side.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. I don't see any questions or any raised hands. There we go. We got Deb, go ahead.
Hi, Cindy. I just wanted to say how much we appreciate it at the Republican River Water Conservation District, all of your hard work along with Ivy's in getting the dryland farmable CREP. We so much appreciate that and are so proud that we are the only area in the United States where this is being offered. So thank you so much for doing that for us. It is greatly, greatly appreciated.
Yeah, Deb was great to work with, and it was a lot of work. And I know that even after Ivy left her position here, she finished up the project and helped with the training up in the northeast section of the state with Deb to do those, and with Woody and Hunter. So a shout out to all those guys too for doing the training to the producers and to the county offices and stuff. So thank you, Deb, for saying that.
All right, anybody else for Cindy? If not, somebody very wise actually added in some buffer time for us on the agenda. Does anybody have any final thoughts or anything that we forgot to bring up? Anything that needs to be said, posted? Anybody else? I think Kent said, he said something about, I knew wearing my CSU cap would coax the CU folks out of the dark corner. I have no comment on that. I'm going to let that stand on its own merits, Kent. Anybody else before we hand it over to Clint for closing comments? I think it's almost lunchtime. So Clint, it is all you.
All right. Well, Sean, thank you for facilitating the meeting today. Liz and the programs team for NRCS and Jean, appreciate all the updates that you all provided and the open discussion. really want to thank the members on the State Technical Committee for the engagement today and good questions, good discussion, and it helps us keep our programs moving in a direction that's going to support ag producers all across the state. Kent, Irene, Ray, and others, Abby, everybody that provided partner updates, really appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedules to be on with us today. And Sean, something we might do next time around is give our partners the opportunity to do their updates up front. So that way, if they've got other commitments, they can step off if they need to. But it was really great to have the FSA team and everybody on here today. And so thanks all for the updates from you all, and then appreciate all the engagement from the committee. We'll try to get back on a quarterly schedule with our State Tech Committee meetings. We had one late last winter, early spring, and then got extremely busy with travel and program rollout this summer. So kind of fell behind on our schedule for our STAC meetings, but we'll try to get back on a quarterly schedule. And also something I would like to reinvigorate is pre-pandemic, we had started having some other partners give updates just on various projects or funding opportunities that they were working on and resource priorities that they were focused on around the state. And so I would like to reinvigorate that, to have some more in-depth partner reports from other conservation partners that are participating. So appreciate everybody's engagement. We'll give you a few minutes back here ahead of the lunch hour today, and we'll follow up and get minutes of the meeting out, and we'll get the recommendation on the CRP move forward over to the Farm Service Agency for their consideration as well. So thanks all, and appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll see you down the road here in the next few weeks. Take care.